MeTV 24 Meridian proudly presents your favorite way to start the day. Welcome to Mornings with Scotty Ray and Candace.
And yes, believe it or not, it's Friday.
It is. Thank
Opening
goodness.
ceremonies tonight?
Yeah.
We all be able to make it?
I hope I don't know about opening ceremonies. I probably won't be able to make that. I got to work kind of late this evening. But it's going to be a big event. And I hope everybody, out there that's interested in state games can go this weekend and watch some of the games.
I'm going to try to watch the fireworks and that big display of things as they go off in downtown Meridian.
Because the rain should be kind of...
lunch, it's out of here. I know it's messy out there. We've already had a couple incidents this morning. We'll talk about that in a minute. If you're leaving home for any reason right now, this is that old rain that makes the road slick.
Yes.
And if you slam on brakes, you're just going to get faster.
Yeah, I felt like I was going in very slow motion around the curves this morning because my vehicle is a bigger vehicle.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary.
It's kind of like a wide load.
It is.
You feel like
I feel like I'm got a bus going around the corner.
Speaking of just how bad it's raining, let's go to Meridian Honda radar and pull this up where y'all can see this. Heaviest of rain, we got two areas in Lauderdale County right now. West Lauderdale area. Let's turn on locations where you can see this. Right up in here, out here around the Piggly Wiggly, even over down to as far as the Freeman Tractor, but out by West Lauderdale High School. And this little stretch in here, right off of 19, when you dig deep into this, it's wet up in here. Can't help but see that. So be careful in these areas there. Mayette Road, as we back out and look around the county of what else is going on. We've got some areas out here by Northeast High School, and then also Southeast School getting some heavier rain. A little bit showing up right here to the west of Pachuta, northwest of there. So some wet areas, but be careful, leave a little bit early.
I think we do need a little rain, especially people who have gardens and everything. The plants need the rain, but... just be careful.
Them expensive flowers you go out and work and slave over and dig.
You got to water like twice a day. So
yes.
This is a blessing for that, but be careful. So it is messy.
Check all that out. As we begin this day, let's talk about, let's see what we want to start with today, what's going on. Wanted to bring the Meridian Fire Department were out early this morning, about 5:30ish, maybe a little bit before that as we pull up our first incident. It was a structure fire on State Boulevard. From what I'm understanding, this was a home that was abandoned. No one was hurt. No one was injured. No one's out of a house. Thank goodness if something has to catch on fire, it's something that no one lives in.
Right.
Now, do we know what caused it? No, but usually in these cases, it's somebody that shouldn't have been in there.
Yeah.
As bad as you hate to say that, that's the truth.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't think there was any lightning or anything at that time.
No, it wasn't at that time. It didn't happen quite that way.
Right.
We did have a couple shots last night. It was actually 4 or 5 fired. No one was hurt. No one was injured. And as we go to look at this, here we go is where this was. 12th and 33rd Avenue. Here's the hospital. It was west of there. And southeast of Highland Park is where that takes place. Just due north of Mary Hope is where those shots were fired. And again, no one shot or injured.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, we can say goodness on that one.
Yes.
Don't like anybody to be hurt. Now, when praise needs to be given, we give it. And I think now is the time we do that. I brought this up earlier this morning. The Meridian Police Department, we give them a boy, a great job for their job done last night as a kidnapping suspect, we'll word it that way, was taken into custody. The Meridian Police Department got a bolo out of Tennessee that a child had been kidnapped. I think they got maybe the license plates on the car, and the car was located at a local motel. This happened without incident. They went in, and it was a juvenile that had been kidnapped, and hopefully are back with their parents now.
So I wonder if, I don't know if we know details about that. But,
not a lot.
Okay. I just wondered if it was a random kidnapping or was it somebody that was a family member that took a child?
I don't think the family had anything to do with it, but I couldn't swear upon a stack of Bibles at this point.
Thank goodness, though.
Here's the story. If you'd like to read this, go to sammedia.network. And again, I give them a data boy. It was near Sam's Club. Let's take a look at the map as police closed in on this. As you look at this, here's Sam's up here on top of the hill, Popeyes right here, right behind McDonald's. That hotel that was in there is where they swooped in and saved this person.
Thank goodness.
Now,
I know that family, for the children, the child's family is probably just overwhelmed with things.
And you have to
Yeah.
honestly sit back and think, okay, what was a kidnapper going to do with that child?
Right. You never know. You never
You
know.
brought this up to me a few weeks ago, and Meridian is a hub for bad guys to pass through, whether they're going to Atlanta or whether they're going toward the Dallas, Fort Worth, or
Right.
Houston area. But this could have been tied, we don't know this, this is just shooting from the hip, of maybe something to do with sex trafficking.
Yeah. You never know.
Horrible that someone would want to hurt a child, and whether it's sex trafficking or they were going to do other things to them, it's horrible.
Yeah.
I'm glad they were caught, and I hope the long arm of the law will reach and do as much damage to them as they absolutely can.
Yes.
We'll get more details on this as this story breaks.
Right.
But
Well, you know, because you never know, like I was saying, if it was a family member who maybe it was a parent that took the child. You don't ever know what the situation is, but, you know, even if you're a family member, if you're not supposed to have the child,
right.
you know, and you take them, it's still kidnapping.
I don't. My gut tells me it wasn't a family member in this. I think
Right.
it was a little bit more serious.
Well, I'm so glad, and you know, that is a great job from
Yeah.
the Meridian Police Department.
It breaks my heart for anybody, and I think 99.9%, maybe even 100, would agree with us on
Right.
this. Of
Because you think about how many children are taken every day, every second of the day. You know, how many children are kidnapped and you never find them.
it was fortunate.
Yes.
Just you have
wonderful
to say,
job.
you know, a lot of times we question God and go, "Why didn't you step in?" Well, God did this time. We give credit there.
And you know, people do question stuff like that about, you know, why didn't God do something?
It's hard
Do you
to
forget that the devil, you know, Satan is real.
Oh, yeah.
He is real. And he is in people all day, every day, walking around. You know, there's evil people out there every day. And it's a battle. It's a constant battle.
It is.
It is.
Now, we had another huge incident that shaped the headlines yesterday. I started getting text of, wow, these Lauderdale County Sheriff's Departments are running everywhere with the lights on. And they were headed to NAS Meridian is what went on. And let's pull this up here. This is the gate at NAS Meridian yesterday morning. Now, little is to be told at this point of the fine details. We do know that someone came to the gate. They would not respond to the military police. And, of course, if you've ever been on base, they ask for everything, and they tell you something, you better listen.
They can search your vehicle
Right.
just like that, you know, yeah.
But for whatever reason, the person did not respond when they were asked to. So the gate went on lockdown. The Sheriff's Department was called in. And if I had to go out on a limb, I think it was a medical condition that caused this.
Okay.
I don't think any harm was intended, but from what I'm hearing behind the scenes, possibly a medical condition that may have caused all this, some confusion.
Right.
And the military is just not someone at a gate that you fool with.
Well, you
And
just can't take a chance.
no,
you know.
you cannot. There's folks that are bad.
You have to treat everything, I would imagine, as that they're a bad
worst.
guy. Yeah, yeah. You just have to treat it that way. If it turns out that it's not, well, wonderful. But, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry.
It's kind of like facing it with Clairol. Sometimes you just got to use it, don't you?
That's right.
But
I don't recommend the Clairol unless you are a hairstylist.
is there a difference? Really? 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know that kind of stuff.
No, there's professional products, and then there's not professional
But
products.
the only reason I know this, Jerry Lee sang about that, you know, back his Clairol hides the gray.
Yeah.
He's 39 and holding.
There's a lot of people that do their own hair and to save money, and I totally understand. I do. But then we have to correct some issues. We have to do color correction. Somebody come in, they got green hair.
Oops.
Somebody come in, their hair's black as my shirt, and it wasn't supposed to go that dark.
Well, I was thinking, do people ever try to cut their own hair in the
Yeah.
mirror and they have boo-boos?
Yeah, and I would be guilty of that myself.
Well, you have to think about this because even on television, the way we're sitting, it's opposite. And then when you look in a mirror, it's also opposite of the
Yeah.
way you're standing. And
I do fine around this area, even though I'm a hairstylist. I don't mean I can cut the back of my hair.
you have
know?
to,
Even with a mirror, you know. I don't
yeah, I
recommend
couldn't
that.
do that.
Yeah.
So
We got
you-
off on another subject. I know.
Well, it's just one of those things
Anyway,
there.
yeah.
Sad news, I brought this up earlier. I posted it last night. Randy Owen in Alabama, his mother has passed away at the age of 90. Condolences goes out to Randy Owen and all his family members. Fort Payne, Alabama, he stayed true to his roots. He loved his mama. He's canceled all concerts this weekend due to the death of the family. And we totally understand that. And pass along our condolences as they go through this.
Yes.
Getting lots of words of clouds, Shucktown, Mississippi. Well, let's see. Hickory is watching this morning. Also, we're getting word. Let's see here. Beautiful, beautiful rain again, Winnie says.
Yeah. Let's see. Who else watching this morning? Erica Saunders. Good morning. Connie Johns. Pat and Jim Coker.
Yeah.
Good morning to y'all.
Hope y'all are feeling well there.
So got somebody-
Causeyville.
Duckville.
Jane, where's he? Oh, yeah, Duck.
Duckville. Beatline. Shirley Sharp's watching from Beatline.
You have to watch your Shirley now. Y'all watch her now.
Goodness.
Great day to be a duck, a lot of people are saying it is.
Yeah.
Kind of wet, but this will end around lunchtime, and all this will clear up, and we'll get sunshine for the state games of Mississippi as it makes its way here. So the good news to all of that. We'll get into some more stories that are going on locally and nationally as this day gets underway. Welcome. We're glad that you've chose us to watch.
We definitely are.
Yeah, we'll try to make it worth your while.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. More on the way with Scotty Ray and Candace. Rockhouse Gun and Pawn is having a 10-year anniversary celebration blowout. Absolutely no sales tax on used firearms. 25% off all gun cleaning and gun care accessories. And a free box of ammo with every purchase of a new Glock pistol. 50% off all pawn electronics. 50% off on pawn tools. 25% off on all jewelry. Huge markdowns throughout the store. It's the Rock House 10-year anniversary celebration blowout. 5430 Highway 19 North. Spring is here and it's time to quit spending all of your weekend cutting grass when you could step up to a Skag zero-turn mower. Freeman Tractor in Collinsville has the #1 rated zero-turn mower, Skag, with cutting widths from 36 inches to 72 inches. Skag, the #1 choice of professional landscapers because they know nothing outcuts or outlasts a Skag. 0% financing for 48 months with payments starting as low as $129 a month. Stop by Freeman Tractor on Highway 494 and see coleslaw or buttermilk.
I'm attorney Richard Schwartz. Accidents happen, but getting you everything you deserve may not happen without an experienced law firm on your side.
From the moment you call, we go to work.
Investigating responsibly while keeping you updated constantly.
We're available 24 hours a day, so don't wait.
For more than 30 years, we've helped get our injured clients' medical bills paid
And fought to get them the most money possible. Remember, one call, that's all.
And welcome back as we begin a rainy morning.
It is very rainy.
Happening
Heavy
here.
rain.
This happened yesterday afternoon. This is a common occurrence when this rain comes down. Slippery roads, and the next thing you know,
Yeah.
you're calling Chet, going, Chet, help me.
Yeah. If you're one of those, which I'm guilty of, is to, I wear out brakes on a vehicle like pretty fast. You pull up behind and you stop pretty quick. You can't do that in this kind of weather.
Shouldn't do it the other way there,
I
Candace.
know. I don't know why I'm like that, though. You know how I'm not one that puts the brakes on a half mile down the road.
You're supposed to let off and ease up. Now, I bet you take
know.
off at 90 miles an hour, don't you?
No, I
To the
don't.
floor.
Unless I'm in a hurry, I might.
Which is always.
Yeah.
Don't let her fib to you there. I mentioned this earlier. CMA, the Country Music Country Music Fest, and it's brought to you by Country Music Association, are following NASCAR's footsteps and banning the Confederate flag from anything at the festival. You can't wear it on a T-shirt. You can't fly it. That's what's happening in Nashville, in case you wanted to go there. Let's see here. We've got a bunch of other things that have gone on. Do you remember the story that we talked about in Kansas City last week, to where it was a lady shot and they were blaming the police? She was shot 5 times. And they made it sound like, the way the headlines were put out, that the police were guilty. This woman done absolutely nothing wrong. And oops, body cam has come out. She has a gun. She's pointing it at the police.
Yeah, a lot of times that goes by the wayside. They do clips on the videos and edit out all the bad stuff.
So did you settle down in your chair and watch the President of the United States give his speech last night?
No.
He basically said he didn't care about your Second Amendment rights.
Yeah.
He urged Congress to ban them. He wants to change it. And he even brought this up about changing the age of buying a gun from 18 to 21. My argument, and most people will say, if you're old enough to serve your country and die for it, you should be able to purchase a gun.
Right.
Now, I don't drink alcohol, but, if they want you to go get shot at, you ought to be able to do that as well.
Right.
Fair is fair in my world.
Yeah. I think some people that have mental issues going on obviously do not need guns.
No, everybody would agree with that.
And a lot of times, in a lot of these instances, that's the case. There is some mental issues going on.
The problem comes in of who decides who is mental and who's not.
Right,
That's the fight.
It's not like you can do an evaluation up in the pawn shop or in the stores that sell.
It'll eventually, I don't know when this will happen, you'll end up having to have some form of card to purchase. That day is coming. No one's going to back off of this.
Right.
But as analysts looked at that last night, they said that he may have hurt himself with this speech more than he gained by trying to push people in Congress to vote for this. Mm-hmm. We'll see, as this Nancy Pelosi has already said that she's getting ready to put forward motions to have guns banned. They want it, and they want it bad.
Well, I just think they need to do a crackdown on the crime more than they do the guns.
They don't want to talk about that.
Right. They don't want to talk about that.
Again, as Candace points out here, it's not your law-abiding citizens that are having problems. They never bring up in the news of people that stole guns and kill one another with guns that they weren't legally owned.
Get to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is the criminals. That's the root of the problem. And even if you get rid of everybody else's, like the law-abiding citizens, even if they did, which I don't see them doing,
no, I don't either.
Turning over their guns, the criminals are not going to go, hey, I saw that,
I'm supposed to
turn this over to you. It's against the law to steal. It's against the law to
unless
murder.
It's $1,000 or less. I mean, you can steal up to $1,000.
Yeah.
Did you forget?
I forgot about that.
Come on now.
Only $1,000. Yeah. Okay. $9.99. You steal $999 worth of stuff. It's like, all right.
Every time I think of that, and I think this cannot be happening in America.
It's crazy.
I truly do.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? We need some Andys in this world to step forward and go, "What's wrong?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crack down on all the criminal activity. And not just the weapon being used. Because, an evil person, if they want to kill you, they could kill you with their bare hands, a stone,
and they do
knife. Look, I heard the other day, one of the most, sought-out weapons is a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can run over somebody if they wanted to.
And the closer you look at this, and I've never understood, and everyone may disagree with me. You may agree with me. I'd love to hear from you. Mm-hmm. But suing gun manufacturers for what somebody done. Okay, what is next? Do you start suing Ford? Do you start suing GM because their car killed somebody?
Yeah.
Do you sue the aluminum can factory because beer was put in it, or a glass bottle because it was alcohol in it? And there has to be a line of no. It's not their fault. It's your fault that you've done this.
It's just a domino effect of blaming somebody or something else. That's become the daily thing. It's like, you get in trouble for doing something. I did it because of this. It's just like with my child. I'm like, I don't care. Don't start it. Don't even go there. Starting blaming. You are responsible for your actions.
Do we need to start having signs that say this is a woke city? Yeah. And things like that, to where people know what they're driving into or moving into.
If you're all for the woke, you need to wake up yourself.
Woke, and I'm starting to use the term.
I'm tired of the woke word, but
I know it just come out of nowhere. A couple of years ago, I couldn't have told you what that meant, but more and more as I watch this stuff on the headlines every day, you go, I'm getting what they are now. There,
call it what it is, and call it ignorance.
So have you been watching the Queen and all the festivities?
I have been watching some of that.
Meghan's been kind of nice. No problems with her so far.
Well, I think she's just kind of, they don't want them. The people have, I don't know if you saw this morning, as they were walking out, they had other audio of what was going on in the background. You could hear when Meghan and Harry walked out of the church, I guess this morning, they went to a service.
Missed all this.
They were booing them.
Really?
Yeah. That, and it's like I've said, I know he made the decisions that he made to be by her side and stuff, but he has children now. Don't you know that even if he's sorry that he went that route with her, he has children now that he loves, and he probably feels like he's kind of stuck in the situation, but That didn't mean you always go on and go along with things.
Listen,
that was
man.
horrible for her to be like calling the whole family
There
racist.
ain't a person alive who don't realize that she tells him what underwear to put on every morning.
I mean, that's obvious, you know.
Yeah, that boy don't think for
But
himself.
I kind of did feel a little bit sorry for him though today. I mean, and yesterday when I was watching, because they had to sit in a total, like in the church this morning, all the other royals were on one couple of pews over here in this side of the church, and he and Megan were on the very opposite side of the church.
And I don't feel sorry at all, because you know what? He brought it on himself.
I do, and like I said a while ago, I'm sitting here backing him for doing what he did. But
I think he brought it all on himself. He let her speak for him when he should have stood up and been a man.
He did, but you know, like you have said many times, eventually, probably what's going to happen, you know, maybe, possibly. I
Tammy
hate to,
Wynette's
put
coming
this
into
dark
this.
cloud over. But you know, what if she decides that, oh, I don't want to be married to you anymore, and he's cut his own throat. He's burnt that bridge.
What was that Steve Miller Band song? Go ahead, take the money and run. That's probably what will happen.
Yeah.
Just thinking outside the box. We feel for him because he wasn't man enough to do what he needed to do.
I hate it for the Queen, though. You know, that would probably be hard to know that that's a major milestone for her, and that all that was going on. But it's like somebody else, that Pierce guy this morning. I forget what his
Pierce
name.
Morgan?
Pierce Morgan, yeah.
The British guy.
He was saying that, you know, all of that mess that they had going on, Harry and Meghan, and they were doing all this stuff in the media and giving all these interviews and all that was when the Queen's husband was very, very sick and on his deathbed, which was total disrespectful. Yeah.
It was. She led the charge.
Yeah.
He followed.
So,
makes it his fault.
It's a bad situation there.
We'll watch him. We'll let you know what becomes of it. But glad for the Queen. 70 years, that's a long time to serve. And she is always very elegant.
That's what classy.
Yes.
That's what I was just going to say. I love watching how much class the whole family seems like they have when they're up there. It's totally opposite from what we have in our society over here. Yeah.
Ooh, some deals.
I hate to say that, but I mean, that's
Oh, some other headlines here.
You know.
What happens when you hire your attorney and you want to charge somebody for something they didn't do, and then come to find out your attorney's dirty too? Stormy Daniels knows that now. He was convicted and got 4 more years in prison yesterday. If you remember, he made up all that stuff and was charged. Was it against Nike? And then he tried to steal from Stormy, and now he gets 4 more years in jail.
Oh, goodness.
Michael, how do you pronounce his last name?
Avenatti.
Yeah, I never went to school with nobody named that, so I can't pronounce it very well.
Yeah, well, I didn't either.
But, yeah, he's off to the jailhouse now for a little bit longer jail sentence there. She's, that's a mess all the way around. Let's see what else went on. We did find out a little bit more in the headlines of the Tulsa, Oklahoma shooting. The guy was upset because the doctor botched his back surgery. And, of course, that would be determined in a court of law, but that's what he felt.
Yeah.
And went after him. And that goes back to, why is it in America, when you have a disagreement with somebody, you take the worst extreme? And this was a prime example of someone with disregard to life going in and hurting someone else.
Yeah.
That's what went on there. As we look at that, gas prices not getting any better. Normally, a couple of days after a big holiday, the oil companies back off because they made a good profit over the weekend. Yeah, not happening. Average in the United States today, $4.71. Average. Now, I think we're somewhere $4.09, $4.10 in that neighborhood.
I did say $3.96.
Woo! Bring
other day.
a jug.
That was at Sam's the other day.
Bring you a jug and just camp out there. The
Everything else was like $4.29, $4.30. You know, yeah.
And Joe still doesn't see that that's what's causing problems there. As we are now starting to see other news networks are telling a little bit of the truth of what's going on there. His ratings are at the bottom. They're floating. Everything you study and read.
Interest rates for like housing markets and stuff like that, that's starting to climb also more. So
And a country
you
boy
want to buy a
can
home,
survive.
you better get busy.
Get you a home.
Get busy while it's still at a lower rate. You know, you never know when it'll go up.
Next, we visit the creepy of all creepy when it comes to people that's been sentenced to jail. And who are we talking about? Harvey Weinstein. Y'all remember the creep from Hollywood? Yep. They upheld his conviction. He was trying to get it overturned and say he didn't do any of that. The court didn't see it that way. He's going to stay where he's at. He used people, used women, and he shouldn't have.
I wanted to. That was bad. That was horrible. Talking about cases, though, has anybody heard anything about? Do you remember Scott Peterson?
That name is familiar. Killed his wife?
Yeah, Lacey Peterson.
Yes.
I was talking to my daughter last night, and she said something about possibility for him to get a new trial. Have you heard that? Because of evidence or something?
I have
don't
not.
know. I'm going to have to look that up. But has anybody else?
Because that was one of those trials where America was glued to the TV when all that was going on with what he did.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of like a Johnny Depp thing or an OJ thing.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. It looked pretty much cut and dry as far as like what happened, and he had a mistress, and all that kind of stuff. But,
shame on him.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that though. If anybody knows anything about it, pop on there.
We a couple of things that are going to be going on in the community that we wanted to bring up this weekend. Don't forget, down south, Quitman, Mississippi, they're going to be having the games this weekend of the softball tournaments. Don't forget that kicks off tomorrow as we turn to this, and they've got different raffles going on, trying to raise money for a young lady that needs your help.
Yes, that's for Tiffany Whidden.
Yeah, she's going to be there. It's a benefit. She's been sick. And if you can, come play ball, come out and get a hot dog, a hamburger, something like that. All goes to a great cause. And we'd love for you to support them and help them out during her time of need.
That's right.
That's a few of the things. And let's go over a couple more things that are happening in the community that I know will be coming up. We want to bring up, let's see here, David Shelton's benefit that's going to be coming up. A car show is going to be held at Meridian Honda, and this is going to be on June the 25th. It will start that afternoon at 2 o'clock. So you can come out and help that. He's had a lot of expenses with his cancer as well. Cancer is just a bad thing.
It is. It's awful.
But they'll have food, live music, drawings, and door prizes all going on there. Meridian Honda. Again, that's June 25th. You got a few weeks away from that. But make plans to go down and do that. And then we also have to talk about Richard. They're doing a benefit for Richard Ferguson and his family. That's going to be the weekend before that on the 18th at the Temple Theater. Barbecue plates to help with the expenses on his family that have been also his wife in the hospital for 120 plus days.
Yeah. There's so many people going through things, and when something like that happens, not only do they have medical expenses, their bills keep rolling in for utilities, house notes, all that kind of stuff. And if they can't work, that is a tremendous, hardship on the family.
It is.
On them, so.
As we look to Texas, one of our other stories this morning had an escaped convict. They've been chasing him for 3 weeks, and mere hours before they caught him, he killed a family, stole their vehicle and killed them. He's been captured. I think that he was shot in the overtake. He had ties to the Mexican mafia, as the headlines on this. The cartel is the way I would actually word it instead of the way they put it.
Yeah.
But bad that somebody would lose their life over something like this. So summertime is coming. Don't forget, if your church or group has a vacation Bible school coming up, make sure to let us know so we can spread the word on that. I still have fond memories of a kid getting to go to vacation Bible school. It was always fun.
They get to do things. They learn about Christ. They make stuff and they make new friends too. Because there's a lot of kids that go to the vacation Bible schools that don't actually go to the church. So
right.
It's they're able to make new friends, and the churches a lot of times get new members.
Boy, they had it 2 weeks apart back in the day in Scuba, Mississippi. You could hit the Methodist church and then go on over to the Baptist church a week later and have fun there as well.
Yeah. But it gives them something to do also in the summertime instead of staying at home and just watching TV,
Yeah, activities, it helps. And speaking of that, don't forget, Northeast is going to be cooking up the food for the kids. I believe it's the 6th to the end of the month there, to where you get breakfast and also a lunch for
right.
I don't want to say underprivileged, but the kids may not get their lunch any other way.
The families, a lot of times the parents will work and they'll have a babysitter at home watching the kids. But let them go, and if the babysitter can drive, that'd be a great thing to
That's right.
let them go pick up lunch or breakfast.
So that's happening
Great.
coming up at Northeast Elementary. You'll find that out on Newell Road in the Meridian area. As we talk about our friends at Snowden and Company, you ever been there? You ever needed a house? Well, that's who you need to speak with. Amanda and her gang will be more gang, her staff, let me word it that way, me and my gang. Buyers, sellers, all of these good folks use them. Why? Because they're reliable, they're friendly, and they do what they say they'll do. You can find your dream home by calling 601-453-3937 or visit them online, snowdenrealestate.com. From Bailey, no matter the size of your house, if you're looking for a bigger one because you got more kids than you know what to do with, or maybe they finally moved away, got married and left you, you want to get rid of the big house. Well, she can help you with that from DeKalb to Northeast as we go out to the Dalewood there. If you want to go there, Newton County, Clark, Lauderdale, all the way toward the Jackson, Mississippi area, Brandon, Flowood. You name it, they can find you a home. Tell them what you're looking for. They'll scout it out, and when it comes available, let you know. See them there. That's out at Lake Ross Collins. Maybe you want to go over to Linmore there in Marion. All happening at Snowden Real Estate. Good folks, you'll find a friend there. Save some money along the way with professionals because it's done right. This is her staff. Call them again, 601-453-3937. The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville is passing along these great savings. Fresh blueberries, $3.39 for a pint. Georgia peaches, $1.99 a pound. Fresh strawberries, only $3.39. Coca-Cola products, 12-pack, 12-ounce cans, 2 for $11. Certified Angus beef chuck roast, $3.79 a pound. And certified Angus beef top sirloin steak family pack, $5.99 a pound.
And we're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
At the Promised Land Journey, Pastor Bill Freeman will be your tour guide through the world of the biblical times. Roughly 3,000 people take the tour of Lauderdale County's recreation of Moses' Tabernacle, a tour of Christ's crucifixion and burial tomb, as well as a bird's eye view of first century Jerusalem and the Holy Land. Schedule a free tour and consider donating to the Promised Land Journey located at Covenant Life Church, 624 Highway 19 North in Collinsville.
Oh, we got some Bible schools coming in.
Yes. All right, we got Northcrest Bible School. It starts next week, 8:30 a.m. Vacation Bible School for Fellowship Baptist is June the 6th through the 10th, 8:30 to 11:30, ages 4 to 6th grade. Ages 4 to the grade 6. So 6th grade.
Yeah, there
4
you
to
go.
6. Yeah, great.
We got a little tongue twister.
Yeah,
We even
yeah.
got a link to it there if
That's
y'all want
right.
to click on that.
And also Sand Springs Baptist Church in Hickory, Mississippi, June 13th through 17th.
And if I remember as a kid, the older kids used to get to go at night, and then the younger kids would go during the day. Like when you got to be a teenager, they'd have something different.
Yeah.
That was the way it was back then.
Yeah. If somebody has the Hickory for Sand Springs Baptist, what time that is,
Yeah.
shoot us that too also. But yeah, some have it at night, some have it during the day. I think the nighttime ones are easier for parents that work to take
It
their
is.
kids to. So yeah, that's a good thing. But
It sticks with you as you get older. So let your child be a part of that. Something good out of it. Whenever I hear this, when I read the name of this television show, I can almost, I think it's a trumpet. I'm not a real know all the different, but I think it's a trumpet that starts off. Isn't that what that is? Who remembers this young lady here? She was born in 1911. She was known as everybody's grandma as we go back to the Waltons. What's that horn that starts off that music with the Waltons?
a trumpet, maybe?
Isn't it a trumpet?
I think so.
But
I
you
think
can't-
it is, yeah.
You can't think of the Waltons without her and John Boy, two of the characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
But born in 1911, she was a staple in that show. And you have to give the writers of that show credit for staying true and not getting rid of people. Even after she had her stroke and she could not talk, they made her a part of that show. It was just a part of America growing up.
Yes, that was a good show.
I liked
really
it a whole
was.
bunch there. I think Corbeth was mean, and I'm not sure everybody agrees with me, but can you imagine married to Corbeth?
No, I do. My great grandmother, her name was Cora.
Do you refer to your husband as Mr. May?
No,
That's what Corbeth did.
no, I
That
say
woman
Kurt.
was prim and proper to the end there. As we go back, you remember this guy, Jamie Lee Curtis. Anybody remember her? Well, her daddy had a birthday on this date. As we pull this up, Tony Curtis. He was one time a big-time movie star. Mm-hmm. He's faded from the limelight, and his movies aren't replayed as much as they used to be. But truly a big figure that came along in Hollywood in its day and time there. I love this show because it was about the only game shows you watched. When there's so many people that their mother tells them that they're just wonderful at singing, that you are the best, baby.
I know. Yeah.
And lo and behold, this show came along and it was like, I like this guy. Anybody remember Chuck Barris and The Gong Show?
Wasn't it controversy with him? Like he was some kind of an agent, like a
What now?
undercover something.
Chuck Barris?
Yes.
On The Gong Show with let's look at his picture. Does that
Something
look like a
about,
special
was it
agent?
like CIA, some kind of, or maybe I don't know. There's some kind of something there, Scotty Ray. I know it is.
Look, folks, what I'm telling you is you tell Candace this stuff while she's cutting your hair, she's in. She's sold.
I'm telling you. Somebody will Google it. You watch. Seriously.
Chuck Barris.
Yeah. Well, I thought the same thing. And, yeah, he was supposed to be a CIA agent. Yeah. Well, they do undercover stuff, you know. I mean, they don't want to give their cover away.
And if y'all think all of these vans sitting around that have Xfinity and mail trucks that sit in your neighborhood for a long time are really those people, if you're somebody bad, you better start paying attention.
You never know, Scotty Ray.
Do you remember the name Leather Tuscadera? Does that ring a bell with you? Mm-mm. Come on now. She rode motorcycles. She had leather. One of the first women I ever saw leather on. I thought, ooh, you scare me. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to Happy Days. Her real name is Susan Quatero. Is that how you say that?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're just going to call it that. But if you'll remember, she was Fonzie's girlfriend for a little while. She went on to be one of the first females that done a rock and roll band. She was good at what she done. But Leather Tuscadero had a birthday today. Oh. Remember she jumped over all the stuff?
Yeah, I guess. She looks like, who does she look like? Christy Nicholson?
That name is...
That's who I thought that was when I first saw it.
Yeah, that's not her. Okay. But I do remember that.
Okay.
She was Pinky. She went by the first name Pinky. Leather Tuscadero. She wore those leather coats. And
yeah.
Almost. The character that they put in...
Christy McNichol. That's who I thought that was. I'm sorry.
You remember the jerk? Remember the girl on the motorcycle? She kind of reminded me of her.
Oh, yeah. She was
Maybe
rough.
They built that character after her.
She was pretty rough, yeah.
1953, this was a pretty big day in Memphis, Tennessee. An old boy from Mississippi would walk down the aisle, get his diploma, and then history was about to be made. Elvis Presley graduated on this day, 53. Talent shows, and he would just... destiny was his. He was bound to become what he was.
You never know who you graduate with will become famous one day.
That's right.
You never know.
I didn't graduate with. I'm trying to think of. Well, I don't know where they went. Yeah. So, you never know.
Yeah.
1956. You ever been anywhere where your parents didn't agree with what you done?
Probably. I'm sure.
And I can't imagine California doing this in this day and time at all. But in 1956, America lived in a totally different atmosphere, a different world. And they saw Elvis and people like Jerry Lee Lewis as bad, that they were bad influences for their children. So what did they do? They got together and done this. They banned it. Can't be playing rock and roll here.
Yeah, it reminds me of the movie Footloose.
That's really what that is.
With the father that was the
preacher?
The preacher, yeah. They weren't having that in their town. They were not going to have a prom. They
that
had
was
it anyway.
The guy that was in Third Rock from the Sun, and I don't know his name, the main character from that was the preacher in that. And a lot of people felt that.
The Elvis thing, I still can't get over the ban on them getting rid of the chapel, the Elvis chapel weddings.
They want some of that
in
money.
Las Vegas
what they
now.
Want. I own it. You can't use it. 1967, what was the number one song? Well, you've heard it all your life. It's still played today. Aretha had the number one.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
You can do it.
Yeah.
I didn't even attempt to do that because I couldn't carry the tune through that. 1978, who was on the cover of TV Guide when you stood there and glanced over at it? Well, it was none other than Starsky and Hutch. Did you ever watch that?
No, I didn't.
You missed out on
I did
Huggy
see
Bear?
the remake of it that was the two guys, Ben Stiller and
whoever the other guy.
the other guy was. Yeah.
David Soul was the original one there, and Paul Glazer, I think was his name. But good show there. it didn't catch on like the General Lee car.
Yeah.
They really wanted that car to be famous, but it wasn't. I remember watching this because it was the only guy that I knew that drove his car into his house and then closed the door. Dan Tana, if y'all remember the TV show Vegas, this was it. It ended on this day in 1981. I always had some good-looking women that hung around him.
Yeah.
What is it with the private eyes and the fast cars where they don't make much money and they drive Ferraris and fancy cars?
I don't know. It's so weird looking at the clothing that the ladies have on. Really, him too. All that stuff is back in style.
Is it?
I don't know about his suit because all the suits have gotten smaller now. They all look like they're too little that the guys are wearing now.
I'm going to shock somebody. I don't even own a suit.
Oh, yeah. Well, all these suits that I don't know why that's the style now for the guys to make it look like they're wearing floods and like they're about this much too short and they're like skin tight. They don't even button. That don't look good to me. Looks like you need to fire your tailor.
Have you told Chris Reed that? Because he's always coming in here with shirts too tight. I've told him myself, but you never speak up.
I keep my mouth shut.
Do you remember 1988? This was a different type movie, but I remember watching it. Who remembers Big with Tom Hanks? That was really big for him.
Yep. Yeah, it was. The piano scene.
Yeah.
That's the one of the main things.
That's all I really remember from it.
When he wakes up and he's big, he's laying in the bunk bed or his bed and he comes up and hits his head because he wished to be big.
Takes you back. Let's go back to 1996. Boy, I still like this song. It's great. It was #1 on this date. George Strait with Carried Away by the Look in Your Eye. Woo. A great song there. Maybe you're a George Strait fan also. Now, as we go back to the year 2000, you probably, I don't know how many people remember this, but I remember it well. I had dinner with this guy when he was a nobody. He went to every label in Nashville. He was terminated from each one of them. He couldn't get a hit. It didn't matter what he done. Debbie and I sat with him at a meal one night. No one knew him. He sat with us for like 2.5 hours, and we talked just regular talk. It wouldn't be until 2000 to when he got a gig with Tim McGraw, and he rode a horse, and he claimed that he had permission to ride the horse. The girl said, I didn't give you permission because my daddy is the police chief. And the next thing you know, the police are chasing Kenny Chesney down the street, and Tim McGraw goes, you can't arrest my friend. Well, they arrested him also. And it made Kenny a household name, which plummeted him to stardom. He was a nobody up until then. That was really the career change of getting arrested to become somebody.
I didn't realize that is what put him into stardom pretty much.
He couldn't get anything. I'm telling you, he was living high off somebody else's hog, if you'll remember that song. Didn't do anything. He couldn't, I'm telling you, no hit. And he was a little bit cockier back in the day. It would be after this incident that he would go to the George Strait Academy and learn how to treat people. And after that, Kenny became it. He was a little bit of a, that how people smart off.
Oh, yeah.
He had that disease. After
arrogant.
this, Kenny really realized who made him famous after that, who his fans were, and he changed his. I have to give him kudos. He became a different person after that. So,
arrogance is not really a good thing to have.
There's nothing like being the bad guy, the tough guy all your life, and then dying with women's clothes in a closet and people finding you. Yep, it happened on this date in 2009 as David Carradine was carrying out some fantasy with women's lingerie.
That's weird.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
That's sad.
Everybody remembers that. 2011, my hero passed away on this date. It would be James Arnaz Gunsmoke. He passed away on this date. One of my all-time favorites. The second longest running show. It held the #1 slot for many, many moons, and it got surpassed by The Simpsons. And finally today, it was 2016 that we lost Muhammad Ali. Anybody remember Muhammad?
I do.
The greatest fighter. What was it? Fly like a
Float
butterfly?
like a butterfly and sting like a bee.
Yeah, I almost forgot that.
Yeah.
Anybody remember the name F. Lee Bailey? Well, maybe you don't, but let me show you this picture. I bet it rings a bell. He was O.J.'s attorney. He passed away on this date. We saw so much of him on the news back in 21. Oh, boy, it was over every day. Well, that's a look at things that went on this day. Maybe you remember a few of those things, and maybe you got carried away with the George Strait song there.
Yeah.
Scotty Ray and Candace, good morning to you. So much more to do this morning.
One of the most important places to you is your home. That's why Patrick Allen Companies is proud to provide style, functionality, and security to your home. There's nothing quite like a well-designed overhead garage door or vinyl replacement windows, or the safety of a storm shelter to help your family feel protected. Patrick Allen offers doors and windows for commercial and industrial with dozens of innovative designs. Patrick Allen Companies, safety, service, and satisfaction.
A police officer called to tell me that my husband had been killed in a car accident. I didn't know what I was going to do. That's when a friend told me to call Richard Schwartz.
Losing a loved one is always devastating. I'm glad we were there during this difficult time.
As we go to Maple's one-stop shop, one of the cleanest places you will ever step into, with cold drinks and a whole lot more. They got breakfast being served this morning right now over at the St. Paul store. You'll find it out at Chevron. Bacon, eggs, grits, great food that we all love as Southerners.
It is.
And that's what they do. They've got the lunch menu coming up. We'll release that in a little while of what they'll have out at Causeville and St. Paul. Great menus. You'll love the food. Great price as well. The loyalty coffee program, they've got that going on along with cold drinks, sun drops if you've got the urge to go have one, or a moon pie. All right there. You'll find them there with the pizza out at, of course, Bonita or at Pine Springs. Take advantage of it. Ice cream and a whole lot more on these hot summer days. See them. Maple's one-stop shop, Bonita, Pine Springs, Causeyville, or last chance on Highway 493, Broadmoor, and 31st Chevron. Some of the places you'll find them. Take advantage of it. What's on tap for you today?
Just work. This has been a long work week for me. I mean, like, I've been busy every day, which is a good thing. But I'm glad it's Friday, we'll say. Got to work late, though.
Working late, taking care of things. Let's see what else is happening across America. Amber Heard says, you may have won it, but I can't pay you. I don't have it. Her attorney says she's going to appeal the ruling what happened. She has nowhere near this money. And out of the gate, people are saying that she's probably not going to be hired for a lot of movies moving forward.
I would think she's not a real stable person. I think both of them, I mean, I'm not for him, against her. I think both of them have some issues.
They probably
I really
do.
He is a great actor. I hate that it messed his career up a little bit, but with like the Pirates of the Caribbean new movie or whatever that they're going to do.
Oh, she messed his life up.
Yeah. I don't agree with her at all. I think she's got some major issues. Anybody that does some of the things that she did, major issues. Yeah.
Got any best friends like that?
No.
In the Deep South, we call
Try
that.
not to associate with anybody that's going to defecate on the bed, okay? This is nasty.
Look at her using big words here today.
That's
but
a
in the
nice way
South,
of
we call
putting
that people with snakes in their head.
Yeah.
Watch those folks.
Yeah.
As we look at the next headline, and I'm glad somebody that's in a leadership role is finally standing up and taking this pen and drawing a line in the sand and going, if you don't come to work, you don't have a job. You can't be a whiny baby and sit at home. Elon Musk is the first of any big company in America that says, you're not sitting at home and not working. You're coming in here, you're going to be with your employees, the other folks here, or you don't work for me. I take it as you resigned if you don't show up.
Right.
I don't know how he's going to replace him because nobody wants to work. But I give him a thumbs up for drawing a line. And that's what it's going to take. Every company going, you got to work or you're not getting paid. Y'all going to be all right. It's okay to go associate with others.
That's right. Yeah, it's a lot of. I heard the other day they're fixing to go back to wearing masks at some places. I'm just,
Me and masks don't get along. I think it contributes to a lot of robberies too because you can't see who they are.
Yeah, I think people took advantage of it in those situations for sure.
And all those that stole the PPI money from companies and went and bought all these cars and homes, shame on y'all. Oh, we look at our next headline, and this is really such a huge number as we look at America. 60% of all Americans, they didn't survey me, but I'm in this poll of don't agree with the way things are going with the rising prices. 60% don't agree with Biden. That's across every type of voter there is in the United States. Rising gas prices, inflation, home prices going up. People are concerned. And Joe was kind of upset. I don't know if you've read into all of this. He's got his team trying to figure out how to fix it. It's a little late, Joe. You could start by,
Resigning.
Drill here, drill now.
Resign.
He's not.
No, he's not. I know he's not. But, I mean, they definitely ran this country into the ground. He hadn't done it by himself because I feel like behind the scenes, there's a lot of people, like we've talked about a number of times, probably helping run the show. So,
oh, yeah, they do. They do. What's happening? Chicago gets their first case of monkeypox. This is a scary disease, but they tell us from the CDC and the WHO, the World Health Organization, don't worry, it's not going to be a pandemic. It won't spread like the other. I have no clue. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know enough about it, but I do know they've got their first case. And I think it's the last I read, it was 8 cases in the United States that had been diagnosed.
Yeah. If you've not seen photos of somebody who has it, it's not it looks like a very awful,
right,
uncomfortable thing.
Over the Memorial Day weekend, and I meant to mention this yesterday, of a couple that lost their life. There's a lot of people that love motorcycle riding, but being in a motorcycle and compared to a car is totally different. Right. As a married couple lost their life as an antelope ran out in front of them and they struck it and they were both thrown from the motorcycle. They died instantly at the scene. How horrible.
I know, that is horrible. But you think, I mean, that's just a natural
in our area,
thing.
It's deer.
Yeah.
And that does happen. It's not often. But y'all think about when you hit them with a car. That does happen with motorcycles.
Yeah.
And the later into the fall time, when times are cold and they're eating grass on the side of the road, is even worse.
I think people who have motorcycles and they are safe about driving their motorcycle, I think it's a great thing for them. I'm uncomfortable on one, but that's just me.
I can see you in leather.
No,
I think you ought to go ahead.
No.
Let that enter you out.
No, I'm not. No, but even driving a car though, there's blind spots. You have to watch for them a whole lot. But people who get out there and act like crazy people on a motorcycle, those are the ones who do not need to be.
You sure you don't want those gloves that have the spikes down the side?
I'm sure.
Don't y'all think she'd look good in it?
No.
CNN, I'm glad someone is finally. How many times have you been watching networks and everything that happens every 3 seconds? Breaking news. And you go, well, what kind of news is this? CNN finally waking up going, all right, y'all got to quit using that word.
Right.
As they get new management and they try to paddle CNN out of the plummeting ratings that they now have, and that America, for the most part, just doesn't watch anymore. And that's just gauging by ratings is what we watch.
Yeah.
But they're telling them at CNN, stop using the word. Fox uses it all the time. I've used it on occasion when something big happens, but not every other breath. But that's what networks do nowadays. Thought you might want to know that.
I've seen that a lot. And I'm thinking, oh, it's something that's just come in. You know, that's what I consider breaking news. It's just happened.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, let me ask this. We're going to get a prediction from and see what you think. Okay. Liz Cheney, do you think she's going to win?
I don't think she is, but
I think she's out.
Yeah.
As she releases her first campaign, she's in Wyoming. Of course, her and Trump didn't get along. And the entire Republican Party is doing their best to make sure that she's not reelected. And it's not looking good. She's behind in every poll.
Well, I mean, it's like she's not even on the Republican side or has the views of the Republicans. You know,
they're called, what is it?
She has a totally different view. It's like she has Democratic or left.
Rhino.
Yeah.
Republican in name only. Yeah. I had to Google that one time because they kept saying it, and I was like, what are y'all talking about? Rhinos. I don't know what you mean. And that's what that means. But the odds of her getting elected are slimmer and slimmer and slimmer as we watch her case to be reelected. I think she's going to be packing it and going home. Really do.
I just think, this country is just in a bad place right now. And anybody that keeps backing the people who have brought this country to the point that it's at right now, you might as well just go in the other direction. I just don't see that. It's
a shame that an elected official can't go. I don't care what party they're from, but once they get elected, they look out for every American.
Right.
Because if you're Republican, you still have Democrats in your district, or if you're Democrat, you have Republicans and people that may not agree with you, and you have to make a decision. It's like having kids. Both want a toy or whatever the case is, and you have to make a decision that fits all.
Well,
that's what I believe in.
Yeah, I believe that too, and I believe this administration that's gone in, and I don't, people might not agree with me, but I believe that they have bred and they encourage division and hate since they went into office. I believe that was a agenda they had going in. They didn't let it be known that it was, but I think they acted like he was going to unite people, and it's been the total opposite.
I'm thinking you don't like him. I
don't know him. I've never met the man in my life, obviously, but just by his actions. You can tell a lot about a person by their actions.
Well, right now he's got a lot of trouble trying to figure out how am I going to answer these questions about the baby formula. This keeps getting worse and worse. And it doesn't matter, again, what party affiliation you have. If you have a child, you want to be able to give it baby formula. And there's just no answer in sight. The more he tries to fix it, the worse it gets. That makes those polls numbers drop.
Yeah.
Again, we'll watch this. Midterms coming up before long to find out how Americans react to this. We'll watch. As we go out to Center Hill, why? Well, we're going to Chet's, and that's where they do paint and body work. You'll see them with masks when they're painting. Can't miss them. There's a reason for that. They're going to take care of your car, whether you had a window busted out, if you got a tail light knocked out. Any case like that, maybe somebody opened a door in your car and is bothering you to no end. They'll fix that. Those little scratches and dings, you'll see it there. Side swipe, somebody run a red light and, well, T-bone you, they can fix that also at Chet's Paint and Body. Honesty, their word is what it's all about. Visit with them, 737-2961. Drop by. They'll show you pictures of things that they've done, show you your car. This is the paint booth. They fix it all and make it look great. They'll process the insurance work, help you out with a rental car to get you on your way again, and let you know when your product will be ready. Your car is what I mean by that.
That's right.
Honesty. Chet's Paint and Body. Visit with them today. You'll be glad you did. Good folks, visit with them. Rockhouse Gun and Pawn is having a 10-year anniversary celebration blowout. Absolutely no sales tax on used firearms. 25% off all gun cleaning and gun care accessories. And a free box of ammo with every purchase of a new Glock pistol. 50% off all pawn electronics. 50% off on pawn tools. 25% off on all jewelry. Huge markdowns throughout the store. It's the Rockhouse 10-year anniversary celebration blowout. 5430 Highway 19 North.
I got the most difficult phone call you could ever receive. My husband had been in a car accident. He was hit and killed by a distracted driver.
Mary, losing a loved one is always devastating. I'm glad we were there during this difficult time.
Welcome back. We are Scotty Ray and Candace, and we urge you to take advantage of everything going on in our area this weekend as we've got the state games. Be on our best behavior as we have friends and neighbors from across the state visiting with us. They'll be in our hotels and our restaurants. Be polite. Tell them where things are, because
That's right.
I always ask when I'm somewhere, where you find it.
I know, and people also, you know, if you think about it also, a lot of places are not just one-way streets like our town is. So just be patient with people. If you see them driving, like, they could be out-of-town drivers. You can tell that by the tag, obviously. But be patient with people. You know, they're just trying to get where they need to be.
Chicago, I want to bring this up before we go of just of things in America that happen. You don't understand and why. A homeless guy that I think everybody knew in the Chicago area. He walked around, everybody knew him. Pretty good person. While he was asleep a few nights ago, the guy went up and doused him in gas and lit him on fire. The odds of him living are slim. Why, I ask, could this ever happen? I don't know. There's a place waiting for people to do things like this. It's just pure meanness as we look at this. Hillary, did you see where her attorney has been acquitted? He's not guilty of anything, they say, in a court of law, even though they proved the evidence. Okay, I'll leave that alone.
Yeah, I did hear that yesterday, and I heard that, you know, they were going to lay the blame somewhere, though, that it was somebody was going to go down for it. I'm just waiting to see.
It'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure. They're saying that this is 100% true. I wouldn't think it, but maybe they did have to sit down with him. Tom Cruise didn't want to do the new movie Top Gun, and they said the producer, he was given 30 minutes to meet with him and try to change Tom's mind to play the part and come back and be a part of it. Apparently, it worked. It's his biggest movie ever.
Yeah. I bet he's glad he did it now.
Yeah. I almost really want to go see it because so many people telling me that it's patriotic. It had a great theme. It didn't run down America. And it made you proud that you're an American. I want to see stuff like that.
I do too. I think we need more of that right now. So
I agree with that 100%. Again, as the weekend approaches, we want you to be extra careful. We'll have this rain stuff with us through about lunchtime today, so keep that in mind. Right now, as we go back to radar, let me just take a quick look here and just show you what we've got going on here. It's making its way out of the area as we pull up Meridian Honda radar there. Some showers in Kemper County. The heaviest right now, downtown Quitman. So if you're in Quitman, you're getting wet. I didn't have to tell you that. You already knew it.
Yeah, they did. But do be careful. It is a messy, messy day. And we do hope everybody has a wonderful weekend and enjoy the state games and all of the things that are going on. The fundraiser in Quitman with the softball games. And
Right.
just have a blessed weekend. And, like we said, show respect, show patience, and be careful.
We'll be back Monday morning bright and early, and we'll have all the headlines all weekend long.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: